Bienvenue tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. I'm Mark Owen. Kidnappings in Kabul are forcing many to resort to desperate measures. Families are sent away for their safety. Senior business people ride in armoured cars. In a country where suicide attacks and roadside bombs are common currency, the price of staying safe can be very high. But now there's the added threat of gangs trying to extort money, abducting people, demanding a ransom, or else. Those who are perceived to be rich are the target. Kidnappings have become more and more frequent since NATO forces pulled out in 2014. Local security services are so focused on the Taliban threat, there's a security vacuum. Criminals are exploiting it. All this is making efforts to relaunch the Afghan economy seem more and more futile. Our reports by Camille Pomelek and Sonia Ghazali.
More by necessity than choice. For businessmen in Kabul, armoured vehicles like this provide security against attacks and kidnappings. This one's owner is the CEO of one of the largest industrial groups in Afghanistan. It cost him a staggering $150,000 to buy this vehicle.
Even in the case of a suicide attack, this car can protect me in, say, 80 to 90% of the cases.
Mr. Ahmed is also escorted at all times by armed guards. And just to be sure, he has installed an anti-kidnapping device. The loud alarm keeps attackers at bay and allows private communication with his security.
Where's the button to talk outside? Sometimes the kidnappers dress up with police uniforms, and it's very complicated to know if they are real. So I use this button to talk to them and ask them what they want.
Saki arrives at one of his 4 business sites, a factory producing frozen sorbets. An army of security guards protects the premises.
Is everything okay?
Yes, all is well.
Where are the other guards?
Everyone is in their place.
Everyone is in their place? Good.
More than a dozen former soldiers work as security guards throughout the site. 36 cameras monitor the factory 24 hours a day.
Here, zoom on that one, please.
This costly setup was installed after a series of intimidations. Saki has begun receiving threats of a possible attack on his family.
My oldest son came home from school. After the school bus dropped him off in front of the house, he saw a car with men and weapons waiting for him. He rushed inside the house just in time.
After this incident, Saki has also decided to send his family to the United Arab Emirates, several thousand kilometers away from home. Kidnappings are on the rise. According to official police estimates, there were 300 kidnappings in 2016, or almost one every day. But unofficial figures are much higher. At Kabul's foreign exchange market, there is maximum security. Policemen, soldiers, and secret services monitor the trading floor, from where almost 30 traders have been abducted.
Many market members have gone to Turkey and bought homes there for their families. The money is leaving Afghanistan.
Most kidnappings here are carried out by criminal groups who take advantage of the lack of security in a country where the military is so focused on fighting the Taliban. It is a phenomenon with social as well as economic consequences. We wanted to talk to kidnapped victims, but to do so, we had to leave the country. To Ahmedabad in India. Gurala has come here to continue his studies. He is in forced exile following his abduction by armed men while he was on his way to school.
Two men got out of the car and asked me, "Are you Gurala?" I said yes. One of them hit me with a pistol and I fainted. When I opened my eyes, I was in a large container. My hands and feet were tied by chains, and 5 masked men were looking at me.
What followed was 6 days of physical and mental torture.
They beat me with chains. They also used a cricket bat, and they pulled my ears with pliers.
For the last 3 years, Gurala has shared this room with 2 Afghani friends. The decision to send him here was made by his father, a former locally elected representative in Afghanistan. We met Gurala's father in a popular district of Kabul. Shafi wished to remain anonymous for security reasons. The family is far from being rich, but Shafi's status as an elected politician stirred envy among his neighbors. He recorded the telephone exchanges with his son's kidnappers. The gang wanted $500,000, an almost unimaginable fortune in a country where the average wage is $200. But after 6 days, the Afghan Secret Service managed to locate the kidnappers by tracking their telephone. They also filmed the liberation.
If
you look at these images often, or
yes, but it's difficult.
The gang leader belonged to Shafi's own family, a jealous nephew who had allied with a member of a criminal group to carry out the kidnappings. Such shocking images have been aired on Afghan television for years.
Take your weapon, quick.
Cases of kidnapping.
Alert to all, kidnappings in the neighborhood of Kartinal
Are reenacted by comedians with the help of the police. There are several such stories to tell in Afghanistan. This show has been broadcast since 2012 on the country's second largest private channel. Reporters follow the daily routines of real policemen. According to the producer, kidnappings have become more and more violent.
Okay, play the tape.
And you dare call yourself a Muslim? How could you kidnap my grandson? Have you no shame?
He says kidnapping soared after the withdrawal of NATO forces in 2014.
More people, they're losing their jobs because the international community is leaving. Of course, it's a question of economical problems. Secondly, it's an income for the terrorist group as well, for the small terrorist group who just have gun and they want to have some income, and this is the best way for them as well.
The Home Ministry has set up an elite force to deal with the problem. The Criminal Investigation Department, led by General Zahir.
These are the latest kidnapping statistics?
Yes. Very good.
The general likes to speak in front of the cameras about successful operations that liberated victims.
Thank you, General. Thank you so much.
In 2014, he dismantled 2 gangs in Kabul and hung their leaders.
We've arrested so many criminal groups that now the situation is under control. Everything has returned to normal in the big cities. There are fewer kidnappings than in the past.
But the business community begs to differ. Saki Ahmed is also the head of the company that chairs the trade union of Afghani industrialists.
In recent months, insecurity has continued to progress. As you know, the son of one of our colleagues was killed during a kidnapping.
Seated at the table is a businessman who was kidnapped on a highway by an armed gang.
They had no small caliber, but Kalashnikovs, machine guns and rocket launchers. After 15 days, my brother came to Kabul and handed them $100,000 in the middle of the desert, and I was finally released.
Of the 12 gang members, only 2 were imprisoned. The rest bought their freedom through bribes. Rampant corruption and lack of security are hollowing out the Afghan economy. Investments have halved in the past year. But as well as those who have left, there are many who have stayed on despite everything. At the end of our story, though, we find Gurala again, the young man in exile in India. He speaks regularly to his father in Kabul by phone.
Do you need anything, my son?
No, Father. I don't need anything. I have everything I need. Don't worry.
5 years have passed since he was kidnapped, but Gurala cannot return.
This is my last year of school, but the family of the kidnappers warned me. If I go back there, they will take revenge on me. I don't know what to do. Should I go back to Afghanistan and take up arms as well? Or should I continue my studies and abandon my family?
Caught between decisions he didn't make, Gurala embodies an Afghan society that is torn by violence, of which kidnapping is a major symptom. The country remains mired in conflict, 11,500 civilian deaths in 2016 alone.
Camille Lepomelec joins us now from New Delhi. Camille, thank you very much for your report. The rise in kidnappings that you were telling us about related to the growing insecurity in Afghanistan. How is the situation in the country now, and in particular in Kabul?
Well, the United Nations just released a report about the number of civilians killed within the first 6 months of 2017, and the results are very worrying. 1,660 dead people since January, and Kabul experienced a sharp increase in the number of civilian deaths. The main reason for this is a wave of large suicide attacks that struck the capital in the recent weeks. I'm sure you remember the 31st of May attack with the truck, which exploded in front of the German embassy. The Afghan government said this attack caused the death of 150 people, which would be the largest incident since the start of war back in 2001. So this kind of large attack in the very heart of the capital city undermined seriously the authority of the government of Ashraf Ghani. The day after the 31st of May attacks, there was a large demonstration, which was something new in Kabul, with people, citizens, asking for a better safety of Kabul, a better safety in the country. But the police then shot bullets on the crowd. And a new demonstration is planned at the end of the month.
Camille, this is the longest war in the history of the United States. Donald Trump due to send more troops to Afghanistan. Tell us about the situation on the ground right now.
Well, the experts say that the insurgents, as we say, control 1/3 or even half of Afghanistan. The Taliban, but also Daesh, are expanding in practically every district of the country. There are some big cities like Kunduz in the north or Lashkargah in the south that are surrounded by the insurgent troops. And it doesn't seem that the Afghan army is able to stop them. Only these special forces, the elite troops, better armed and trained, are capable to stop the insurgents. So the US military is asking for more troops. And as you said, Donald Trump is due to announce within the next few weeks that he's sending several thousands of GIs to better train the Afghan army and maybe to announce a new strategy. That is what is said now in Kabul. But the Taliban leaders already said that they won't engage in any dialogue until the foreign troops have left the country. So 16 years after the start of the war, the overall situation does certainly not look very optimistic.
And of course, the people living in greater precarious situation with risks on a day-to-day basis. Camille Pomelec, thank you very much indeed for your report. You can see Camille's report again via our website, of course, on france24.com. This is Reporters on France 24. Stay with us.